What is up, homies? Welcome back to another reaction from Heroes Reforged. We are reacting to the official trailer for Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. Before we get into the reaction, I want to let you know, though, the big thing that we're doing with this show is we're going to be doing a reaction series for it. Augustine is a huge fan of The Lord of the Rings. He's kind of our subject matter expert here, so we're going to be doing a reaction to that. Also on our Patreon page, patreon.com/heroesreforged. We've been doing a rewatch of the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy, the theatrical editions. It was a lot of fun and it was a really good primer to sort of getting back into the headspace of Middle Earth, because for me, I hadn't seen some of those movies since they were originally out in theaters, so it was a really good opportunity that, despite the fact that the timelines are not connected, it was a really nice primer to get into this and to, you know, get refamiliarized with Middle Earth.
Listen right now. You're gonna want to watch those on Patreon because Adam becomes a full-fledged, full-bore Lord of the Rings fan before your very eyes. I mean, like, he was a fan before, but he's like become so invested that we're pulling this up to do this trailer reaction right now. And as we pull it up, we're on the 0 second of this trailer. Adam is like, "Is that Galadriel? Is that the actress playing Galadriel?"
You guys ready to watch this trailer?
I'm ready to watch. Let's go.
All right.
Oof. Oof, that's loud.
Watch the new
Starts
trailer
real
now.
spicy. My God, my ears.
That's the trailer before the trailer.
My brother gave his life hunting the enemy.
Wow.
His task is now mine.
Oh, cool.
Stand with me. Ours was no chance meeting.
She looks so
Not
badass.
fate,
Yup.
nor
That
destiny.
guy in blue was Aragorn's great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-granddad.
Wow, cool.
Whoa.
Each of us,
Whoa.
everyone, must decide who we shall be.
Sweet, dude.
I am not the hero you seek.
Whatever it was you did, be free of it.
One day this will be your kingdom.
Ooh.
Wow.
Choose not the path of fear,
That's Moria.
but that of faith.
Yeah.
It looks beautiful.
Some of those shots are really echoing the style
One thing we can do
of the Lord of the Rings
better than
films.
any creature in all Middle Earth. We stay true to each other with our hearts even bigger in our feet.
Okay, you're never gonna believe this. That apple has the most complicated lore in all of Lord of the Rings.
We can survive this. You and I.
Commander! Wait!
No, we keep moving.
Why do you keep fighting?
There is a tempest in me.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Okay.
You have fought long enough, Galadriel. Put up your sword.
Yo.
Yep. The action also looks really great.
Without it, what am I to be?
Nice.
Yes, I think that's what we were missing, y'all. I think that's what we were missing. So we just finished watching the 3 movies, and they were like, we were commenting about how the action was so brutal and well choreographed, and like you felt when the armies clashed, you felt that power, right? We didn't have any of that in the previous trailers. We got the action here. It looks, honestly, I'm gonna say it looks better than what Peter Jackson filmed, and maybe that's because it's older footage, but I think it looks better.
It's pretty stunning, dude. That's one thing I was thinking while watching this just now. Is I was like, there's no question this all looks movie quality, whatever that means. But it's especially after watching the films from 2001 to 2003, which still hold up and they look gorgeous. Do not get me wrong. Those movies are like benchmarks in visual effects and just like genre filmmaking visuals as a whole. But this, knowing that it's still a television series, every Marvel show and Star Wars show that Disney's been putting out, they're great. They look amazing. But I think that like Andor has been the best looking and most like filmic looking Star Wars show thus far. And I would say maybe Loki is maybe like the best looking MCU show. I think that the effects of She-Hulk are pretty great overall, but we still watch those shows, and we always tell ourselves, with a caveat, is this has a TV budget, whatever that means. They took a movie budget and split it across 9 episodes or 6 episodes or whatever that means. However they allocate those budgets. Dude, I was watching this trailer and I'm just like, this clearly, from the first trailer, but especially this one, you can see every dollar spent on this damn most expensive show ever made. It looks like a film does today, let alone what a movie looked like in 2003. No question about it. It looks stunning to watch. And some of those shots, the establishing shot of Moria, the mines of Moria, that looks like a similar shot that Peter Jackson would employ to do those establishing vistas of like, we're flexing now. Check out Middle Earth. Look how good this looks. That was really cool to see as well.
Yeah, it looks really rad. Adam, as the newest member of
Middle
Lord
Earth
of the Rings family, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it looks really, really good. The way that I kind of look at it is similarly to how I look at the original Star Wars trilogy to the prequels. The original trilogy has a very like lived in, rough, kind of grungy, dirty world because it's been kind of overrun by the Empire. Lord of the Rings kind of feels similar-ish in that way because it's during a time when Sauron is coming like back into power. So it's like it's a little bit how I look at this show, is like it looks a little cleaner, it looks a little brighter, it looks a little bit more colorful because it's a different time, it's a different era. And I think it's also just to differentiate itself a little bit from the movies. And the movies have the difference that Peter Jackson was the director all the way through the entire trilogy, so it very much has his fingerprints all over it. This show, I don't know exactly how many directors are on it, but you know, usually shows have a showrunner or a set of producers kind of oversee the consistency of the look and the feel of the show, so it kind of has a consistent look throughout. And that look can be determined by the first director, then the first cinematographer, could be determined by, you know, the artist on board, all kinds of different things. So I think that's one thing that I kind of like about the show, is that it is trying to find its own identity, while like you guys were saying, there are similarities to how the shots are structured and how something feels like it could feel like it's connected to the Lord of the Rings films, but it also is doing something to make sure it is also its own thing. Because I think naturally what's going to happen is we'll watch it, everybody else will watch it, and they'll go, well, how does it stack up to the Lord of the Rings trilogy? Which is kind of an unfair comparison because they're not really connected in that way. It's not a prequel to the movies, it's a prequel to the Lord of the Rings story. But nevertheless, that's like an inevitability. So I think they are working really hard to make sure that, you know, I think the thing that Hector always says is kind of justifying its existence and why, you know, it deserves to be here. So, but I mean, it looks really cool. And yeah, the action, the visual effects look really good and looks really clean and good. And I'm looking forward to just kind of like sitting down and watching the first. I will admit the music kind of threw me off in this trailer. I think also because we're so used to hearing Howard Shore's score for the last week that we've been watching those movies, that's immediately what I project onto a trailer when I see it. And I know the previous trailers had some more composed music, but I heard a little bit of what Bear McCreary and Howard Shore have done for this show, and it feels very Lord of the Rings. So despite all that, like, it still looks great, and I cannot wait to watch it next week.
Yeah, I was watching a lot of reactions on Twitter, and a lot of people were complaining about the music. I personally don't have any issue with the music, given that like this is a weird example, but you remember when Suicide Squad came out and they did that mashup with Queen, right? Wasn't necessarily even in the movie, and it was awesome, but it was very different. Like, it didn't really have much to do with the movie. So I think given that this trailer was very action oriented, they needed music that was going to bring that action. Like an orchestral score is great, but like a more punchy, more poppy song, I think does a good job.
I agree. I'll also say that I don't think that this song choice paired with this trailer is necessarily going to light the world on fire. There's been so many great, amazing song choices paired with trailers over the past history of film, I guess, where people were like, that's so memorable, and then like that just like boosts the sales or the listening of the song, and it's all just really works. I'm not saying this is a swing and a miss. I don't think it is, but I think that it does fit with whatever tone they're trying to go for in this trailer, which is kind of like building up. It's a little foreboding, but I'll also say this. I think that it's probably a very conscious decision for them to pick a piece of music like this for this, because the advertising for this has been, so far from my viewpoint, hey, Lord of the Rings, the movie fans, come home. This show is for you. Lord of the Rings fans, Tolkien fans, you're already into it. Dude, we're doing it big. This is it. But I feel like this might be a trailer that I don't know where they're going to put this. I don't know where they're going to play this. I don't know what they're going to put this in front of. I don't know how Amazon Prime's going to market it, but like, I could show this to somebody who is not a huge Lord of the Rings person, And I feel like the connection here is Galadriel is this character. She's this woman going through some stuff. She seems to have a compelling story. And that music almost modernizes the world in a way. It almost, it's a
hook, yeah.
It's a hook. Yeah. It's like, oh, like I can relate to that. I can relate to this type of music. I can relate to this type of pop song, and I can relate to this feeling. And then I can relate to the whatever is relatable with these characters. And it feels like with this trailer, they're saying Galadriel's the main character. She's the pro tag. We're going to follow her. She's the one we're going to connect to. I bet it was a very conscious decision for marketing to do something like that, because they're like, look, we want to get people who aren't huge Lord of the Rings fans. We want to get regular people. We want to get, fantasy fans, sure, but like
people who are watching Game of Thrones. We want to get like all these types of people.
We want to get moms. We want to get dads. We want to get people who are like not hyper focused onto what this show has been, and they just have Amazon Prime and they're going to check it out because, because maybe a trailer like this could entice them. Looks like a cool show, a character, whatever. And yeah, I also feel like maybe the focus being Galadriel is paired with this song, which is a woman singer and this kind of, pop song feeling, emotional type of a song. I feel like this is something that is trying to definitely market towards women audiences, which I feel like Lord of the Rings already has a pretty good split between the different genders there are, like into what they're into. But I'm sure there are people who are working on this show and at a marketing level and at, the Amazon Prime level, blah, 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 that they're like, look, nerd men are going to watch this shit. We want to get women who are not typically into this stuff. As an HBO Discovery generalization, men are fandoms and women are genredoms or whatever bullshit they said. I'm sure there's some level of that at play where somebody at Amazon's like, we put out a trailer to try to get women who are not nerds interested in this show. Yeah. And so, but having said that, this trailer still works for me. I think it's very, very beautiful. The show looks awesome. The action looked great. And not just those epic action scenes, but the stuff where it's like, remember in Fellowship when the Fellowship was fighting a troll in Moria and they all had to have their kind of different choreography and they're doing stuff just like the 9 of them in those close quarters. There was moments like that in this trailer where characters are jumping and Galadriel slicing at somebody and then she does like a little somersault thing. So anyway, I think the show looks awesome. I'm incredibly excited to see it next week, especially after we just got Adam sucked back into the world. Adam about to start watching Game of Thrones on his own. This guy's going fantasy.
I know he's going right fantasy crazy over here.
Yeah, mostly because we've had a lot of people asking about that, and I always have to tell people that I've only seen 5 episodes of season 1 and then the final season, and people think that's absolutely nuts, and I'm like, whatever, it's fine, I don't care.
I watched the first 3 episodes of Game of Thrones and I was like, maybe it's not for me.
I know Lord of the Rings, I'll pass.
Let's keep talking about it. I watched the entire first season of Game of Thrones and I said, hey, this is a great show, not for me. So it's a bummer when people are so into the things we're putting out on our YouTube channel because they're like, I love watching these shows with you. I love how you guys get excited about this thing. Are you excited about the thing I am excited about? And I have to let them down and go, no, I'm not. I'm so sorry. I'm not as excited about that thing. But keep enjoying the thing. But hey, check out our Patreon for a bunch of great uncut reactions to movies, TV shows. We got R.R.R. on there. We got Prey on there.
So fun.
Uncut.
Yeah. So fun.
We got a bunch of different stuff that's not just Marvel, DC, or Star Wars. And the Lord of the Rings.
Squid Game, Arcane.
Squid Game, Lord of the Rings is going to be another great addition to our fandoms.
A couple of Halloween movies coming up soon.
Yeah, we got that Guillermo del Toro anthology coming up. That's going to be fun. That's the one I'm looking forward to the most, actually, to see what that boy's got going on.
That's maybe be a good
even Gendy's Primal after Mr. Chris Evans said he was such a big fan of it. So
only if Chris Evans would watch it with us.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
We'll see. But make sure you guys come back for the Rings of Power reactions. Check them out. Uncut on Patreon, including the movies. And we'll see you guys then. Bye.